Hello, beautiful people. We are on week 2 of our Tempo AMAP program, and you all have hit all of these days so far, so we're going to do what we do on the gym floor and cycle back through the beginning of it. We'll skip a day and start up on day 2 just to do a staggering technique like we're used to. Also, I made a program for Blake, who just didn't quite have the time to incorporate the full programs, and I'll include that in this email. I find myself doing this style of program a lot during the downtime. It's just quick, it's not in high demand for equipment, and we don't have to think a lot. And so again, I'll include that in the email as far as a YouTube tag. And if that's easier for you to do, it's a little more approachable, feel free to do that. But nonetheless, we have day 2 of the program. I'll link that video in as well. It's our push-up day, our single leg RDL day, and our single arm overhead press or push press day. So remember, with the push-ups, want to practice something called cervical spine traction. At the bottom of the push-up, and this is for myself included heavily, I always find my head sinking down at the bottom. So we really want to think about not letting that postural discrepancy come up and take advantage of our movement, right? We're trying to hit that clean rep. Remember, the more dirty reps we do, call them dirty reps, the more our nervous system gets used to those dirty reps, and they resort to them very fast. As soon as we're wiring that improper rep, our body doesn't forget it. It remembers it. It goes to it when it's tired. So we try to avoid that at all costs. The single leg RDL, I found a trick with myself doing this morning. So instead of going to the single leg RDL with weight on the open side like I normally do, which is a great movement, but I really struggle with this, and a lot of us do just due to the restricted range of motion on our back side. So what I did was went to a split stance version of it. I'll do it kind of facing the camera. I kicked one leg back, spiked the toe, and did my hinge, pushed back into my glute, and came back tall. You'll notice that this front knee does not travel forward here, but yet this glute and this hamstring go back. I'm maintaining a nice long spine. We're not letting the weight take advantage of our spine as we go down, but we're pushing into that hip, loading up that front glute, and coming back tall. So that's essentially our deadlift, but we're taking out that demand for the stability, and we're adding in a little more range of motion in that hip. Another thing that I would love to give you all time to take note of here is heavy engagement in our oblique slings during this movement. So if you do go to that single leg movement, you might grab your core or grab the side for a little tactile cue. Brace into your hand, so as if we're going to get a little bit of a punch to the gut, and continue bracing into your hand through that movement. That will really help stabilize the hips during that single leg RDL. And our third movement, we have a push press or a overhead press or towel overhead press. I'll include this and the full demonstration video. I'll demo this from the knees. So we would just brace and push overhead, so an overhead press, or you can do that squat to overhead press, or we can grab, the towel for the pushing and pulling variation. We would front grip the towel like so, as if we had a kettlebell racked in our chest, and we'll push overhead, and then pull down and resist through the top hand. So we're pushing and pulling on both ends. So everything will be by 8 per side. Don't want to forget the conditioning this day because it's my favorite. We're going to do a kettlebell, dumbbell, anything of weight, swing, or a hinge jump. So as if this were my kettlebell, we'll swing back, come through, eyes on the bell the whole time. If you didn't have the weight, you could do the hinge jump by 10 or 12, depending on if you would rather do more hinging. The next station is we'll kick back into our hips. We'll do the forward, reverse, crawl by 3. So that will be our conditioning, and that's 12 minutes, as many as possible. So we have our push-up, focal point, not losing the head as it falls forward, making sure we're as long as possible. The push-ups are by 8. We have that tempo approach, 3 seconds down, explode out. We then have our single leg RDL by 8 per side. We can mix up the approach. It could be that split stance if you're struggling for stability. Make sure our core is on. And then we have our overhead press, push press, or towel push pull by 8 per side. And then we'll hit that by 5 rounds. Our conditioning is our AMAP set. So as many as possible. We have 12 swings, 3 forward, 3 reverse crawl by 3. We'll do that as many times as we can in that 12-minute duration. All right, have a great day, y'all.